So I'm up bright and early on this Sunday morning, about to give you people part two of Surviving a Narcissist. This content you will be able to find on my YouTube channel. So follow me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, of course. Anyway, guys, so part two of this thing with the a narcissist. Let me just grab my stuff because y'all know me, very transparent. I ain't gonna, this ain't stage. This is live, loud, and in real color. And I make mistakes. It's gonna be bloopers and things like that. I ain't going back and editing nothing. Because one thing I don't like is fake content. And ain't nothing about the content I'm going to give to you guys fake. All my stuff is real, and I speak from the heart. And if I make a mistake, it is what it is, because it's real, right? So anyway, the second part of this thing about a narcissist and surviving a narcissist, I'm going to talk about how the narcissist has nothing good to say about anybody that they've ever been with. Anybody that they've ever been with, or anybody in general, has always wronged them. It's never a thing where they are responsible for anything. I talked about that a little bit on yesterday, but literally you'll start hearing them bad mouthing somebody always did something to them. They did this to me. They did that to me. They did the other to me. Me. And they always, and they gotta have a lot of kudos. They want, this lip gloss keeps making me think I got pasty shit around my mouth. I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway, all the time they think that people are against them, or people, and oh God, and the accolades, you got to give them accolades. They want to be made to look like the better person, or they want to get kudos for things that they do. Everything with them is grandiose, like I touched on yesterday when I said to you that if they're having a problem, all hell, heaven and earth better come to a standstill if they're having a problem, but they don't have any sympathy or anything for you. They don't want to be. Now, all of them may not be this way, but the one that I'm speaking of, the narcissist that I'm speaking of, he does not like to be by himself. So even if that, so he's never going to be by himself. He's always going to have more than one woman because he doesn't like to be by himself. That was one of the first things he said to me when we first started talking. I don't like being by myself. So guess what? If me and him have an argument, or me and him are having a bad day or whatever, he's going to go on and move on to somebody else. Now, has he moved on to somebody else right now? I really, look, y'all, this lip gloss is driving me nuts, making me think, I don't know, it's just driving me nuts. Anyway, so has he moved on to somebody else? Probably. But the person that he's moved on to is either somebody he already knows, or somebody new who doesn't know anything about him. Because the bottom line is this. Oh, and everybody. He loves everybody. Loves everybody. That's the thing. He equates any type of feelings with love, when in reality, it's not love. It's just something that they say, because what is it that most of us want? We want to be loved, right? So if you're dealing with a narcissist and they're going through the love bombing stage, they're going to tell you what it is you like. A narcissist is... I'm sorry, y'all. My little crazy dog out here barking. Jayla, please. A narcissist is very in tune to what you like. They figure you out real quick. They figure out what things that are missing in your life. They figure out what things that drive you, and then what they're going to do is they're going to prey on what those things are that they know you like. And most of us want somebody to love. Let's just face it, it is what it is. We all want somebody to love. But what is love? Do we even really know what love is? What we equate sometimes to be in love is really infatuation, or in love with the idea. Let me give you an example. As bad as he was to me, for a minute, I really missed him, and I felt like I was grieving him. But it wasn't that I was grieving him. I was grieving the idea of him. I like the idea of jumping on a plane, staying in a beautiful Airbnb, and just having like a little mini vacation and being there with him. So it wasn't so much that I missed him. I missed the idea of having something to do, having somewhere to go, and just being in a different atmosphere, because it certainly was not him. Because the last time that I went to go see him was absolutely positively horrible. He left me at the Airbnb. I'm way out in bumfuck America, and he left me at the Airbnb because I said something to him that he didn't like. He didn't take any consideration in the fact that this woman came all the way from another state for me. And he picked me up from the airport. Now, mind you, this was the first time that I had ever gone there, and I did not get a rental car. Primarily because I was only staying there for a couple of days, so it was no need for me to get a rental car. He picked me up from the airport. We went and got something to eat. We went to the Airbnb. We're at the Airbnb. We're there most of the day, and then he leaves and he goes to work. And he comes back that night when he gets off from work. And I was only there 3 days this time. Another thing, this was the first time that I ever went there to see him, and I only stayed a couple of days. Normally, I would stay about a week or more. But this time, I only stayed 3 days, so I didn't get a rental car. So the next day, he was tired. He really didn't want to get up and come over to the house. He was fussy and cranky and different things like that. So when he came to the house that next day, he was just in such a foul mood, you know what I mean? I was like, look, if you're going to act like this, you can leave. And I didn't technically think that he would leave because, hey, I'm here from out of town to see him. He wouldn't do that. He jumps up, puts his shit on, and goes out the door and leaves. Now, mind you, in the part of where he stays at, it is so rural until you can't get no Uber Eats there. You can't get no Ubers there like nothing. It's like legit. If you get them, it's got to be during the prime time of the day. Now, mind you, I hadn't been to the grocery store. I hadn't done anything. Let me back up. Because the next day, it wasn't the next day that when he acted up. It was the third day. When he came the next day, he was in the bed asleep most of the time. I got up and I went to go get us something to eat. I came back. It was time for him to go to work. He went to work. He came back that night. The next morning, because he had gone home. The next morning when he came back to the house, he was really angry and really cranky and really fussy because he just, he really didn't want to be there, I guess. And so that's when I said something to him about, like, if you don't really want to be here, just go back home and get in your own bed but I didn't technically think that he would do that. He jumps up and he got dressed and he left. And so now, mind you, I've only eaten twice in the 4 days that I've been there, right? The first day we stopped, we got some Chinese food. I think I got some chips and something like that. And I had a little bit of the Chinese food left over the next day. That next day, I went up to think it was Jersey Mike's and grabbed some subs. But again, I didn't stop and go get anything because he was there and he was coming back. We would go and get something to eat, what have you. So now we're going into the second day. By that second day, I didn't eat anything that night either. So as we're going into the third day, when I'm there, he comes over, and like I said, I never got a chance to go get anything to eat or anything like that. He jumps up and he leaves. So now I'm there and I'm stranded and I'm hungry and I don't have any food. I don't have any car to get anywhere, and I call Uber. So I call him to try to get him to come back. He tells me no, he wasn't coming back. He was going to work. He had to be to work early and he was going to work. He wasn't coming back, just being a complete asshole. So as the day goes on, I'm telling him, well, listen, I'm hungry. I need something to eat. Shit, look at me. I'm a big girl. Now, grant you, I don't eat a lot, but I still need to eat, all right? So I'm telling him to come back. He's like, he's not coming back. He's going to work. And he was like, order Uber Eats, and then starts laughing. I was like, but you do know where I'm at. Uber Eats would not deliver, okay? Grant you, the lady in the Airbnb I was staying did have a book filled with menus in there, but they were menus to takeout places. None of them delivered. So I'm stuck there. He never came back that night. He left me there to end. I was so upset. I was so upset because I couldn't believe that he had did that to me. He went on to work, went home from work, did not come. So the next morning I had to be to the airport, okay? So I calls him. I had to be out the Airbnb by 11. So I got up that morning because whenever I stay in the Airbnb, I cleans the Airbnbs up. I wash the linen. I just clean it and leave it nice, okay? So I got up that morning and I texted him and I asked him would he come and pick me up. He was like, well, what time you got to be at the airport? And I told him what time I had to be at the airport. He said yes, that he would come and pick me up. I left it at that. So I said, well, I got to check out the Airbnb by 11. He says to me, well, I'm not going to be able to be there by 11. I can get there maybe by 12:30 the latest. So the Airbnb that I was staying in was connected to the owner of the Airbnb's house. It was on the other side of her house. So she had somebody else that was coming into the house. She needed to get the place clean. So I was already cleaning up in anyway. So I asked her, could I stay till 12? She said, yeah, no problem. She said she just needed to get. I said, I've already washed the laundry. I've already cleaned the bathrooms. I've cleaned everything, taken the trash out. She was like, okay, great. So you've helped me out with getting it prepared for the next people that's coming. I was like, yeah. So anyway, he calls me. He's like, he's not going to be there till 12:30. So I had to tell the lady, listen, I know that you got somebody else coming in. My ride's not going to be here until 12:30, but I'll go sit out on the porch. Now, mind you, I live in Florida, okay? It's March, and even in November when this was, I could sit outside in what I got on, a t-shirt and some shorts, because it's South Florida. Well, I was up north. I wasn't in South Florida. So mind you, I had to leave out the Airbnb and I had to go sit on the porch in the fucking freezing cold in November, okay? On the porch. I don't own a big coat because I've been South Florida 15 years. I don't have a coat. Not a big one. I got maybe jackets and sweaters and dusters and shit. So anyway, I'm sitting outside on the porch and I'm waiting. I'm freezing. I'm freezing. So finally he gets there. He comes and I start walking off the porch. He grabs my little suitcase and put it in. Do you know this SOB had the nerve to want to kiss me? Bitch, get out my face. Ain't no kissing me, because at this point I'm saying in my head, I'm done. You could do me like this. I come down here in your neck of the woods and this is how you do me. Now, let me also say this. This was the first time. Also, I comped this whole thing myself, because normally, as a rule, he wasn't stingy with money. He was very good to me in that respect, okay? Even though I got my own money. And one thing for sure, and two things for certain, mama didn't raise no dummy. You don't go nowhere and don't have your own motherfucking money. I don't care who it is. So a girl was going to always be laced. So don't misunderstand me, people. It wasn't that I didn't have money to go to the store to get myself something to eat. I was in a part of the state that he was in that there were no Ubers. That's how rural the area was, okay? So there were no Ubers. There was no Uber Eats. There was nothing like that, okay? So this is why I was there hungry. So anyway, he comes and gets me. We get in the car. This is the narcissist we're talking about. And he's talking and kicking the bobo and kicking the shit just like ain't a motherfucking thing happened. These are the kinds of things that this narcissist does, and most of them will do. They'll act just like nothing has happened. They'll know something has happened between y'all the day before, but they'll either call you and start talking like whatever happened the day before didn't happen, or in this instance, he knew he had left me in the Airbnb all night long. I hadn't had anything to eat. So now we're on day 4, okay? So I'm going back to the airport now to get home. I'm fucking starving. I can't wait to get to the airport to get anything because I'm ravenous. Because now in 4 days I've had 2 meals, okay? So I'm ravenous. I'm ready to get to the airport. So when we get to the airport, he stops and he goes and gets gas for the car. And then we get out to the airport and everything. I get out the airport. I pull my mask up and I grab my bag. And I was ready. He pulled the bag out the trunk and I started heading. He stops and he stares at me, giving me this old deep old gaze, like eyes watering over. Good crier, you know, like he, I'ma miss you, babe. I'ma miss you. I love you so much. Nigga, fuck out of here. You don't love me. Because if you loved me, you would have never ever left me in the situation that you left me in, honey. I said, this is goodbye. This is goodbye, okay? Because it was goodbye for me, because I knew I would never go back there. Now, did I stop talking to him? Absolutely not, because that's not what we do. Come on now. I'm real. I'm transparent. Told y'all that. I'm 100% transparent and authentic. I'm never going to lie to you and tell you some bullshit. Did I stop talking to him? No, I did not stop talking to him. We continued to talk for months. We still continue. And I was about to get ready to go up there. I think it was like right around Valentine's Day. I was there. Yeah, this is all recent, okay? But this is what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. Although I still dealt with him and although I still talked to him, I had checked out. I checked out months ago. But there is something that's inside of me because I'm loyal to a fault, okay? Even though I should have got rid of his ass months ago, back in July. Remember I told y'all yesterday, back in July when my grandbabies were born and one of them passed, and how inconsiderate he was. I should have got rid of him then, and that should have been done. But no, I'm a glutton for punishment. I am. I stands in my truth. I'm a glutton for punishment. So no, I didn't. I continued to go on and deal with the bullshit, and I continued to listen to the lies, and it was just getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So now, right around January, He tells me he caught a case for something, right? Says somebody accused him of doing something that he didn't do because he was at work. He didn't know why he was being, somebody lied on him is what he said. Said he had to go to court. That was all he mentioned about it. I started noticing because, let me tell you something, he had a bad history. And he had certain rituals and things that he used to do before he went to court. Like certain praying, he's into the spirituality thing and all of that, lighting candles, going to see the witch doctors and all that kind of stuff. He's into that kind of stuff, right? I don't knock nobody for their beliefs and what they want to do. That's not the point. I'm going somewhere with this. He had a big case that he was facing that he walked away from in September, something that he should have gotten some big time for, but he walked away. And like I told him at that time, God gave you an out, okay? You're never going to get this out again. He gave you an out. He let you walk away from this situation. Now you got to change your life. You got to do things that are different. I know. So here we are in January, and he tells me he got this case. And he didn't understand why they had picked him because he wasn't the person, and he didn't even know the person, and he said the person's name to me. And see, I don't miss nothing, right? So he said the person's name to me, and he was like, he didn't even know who the person was. He was at work, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay, well, that's easy fix because the place he works in, they got to badge in and badge out everywhere they go. So if he's at work, not a problem. So the closer and closer it gets to time, I tell him about one of my girlfriends who is a pastor and she's prophetic. And we were talking and she said to me, now mind you, this is all he said about the conversation, so I didn't think anything else of it. So I'm talking to a pastor friend of mine and we're talking about things, and she asked me, is the guy that I'm dealing with, has he ever been to court or has any court dates pending? And I say to her, I start telling her about the case that he beat back in September. So when I talked to him later on that day, now this is weeks later, almost a month later, and I told him, I said, one of my best friends that was, is a pastor, and I told him what she had said about, does he have any court date? Does he have any court cases coming up, or has he been to court? I said, and I was telling her about the case that you beat back in September. And this motherfucker says to me, well, I got court coming up next week. No. You remember I told you that I got accused of doing blase scoop? I was like, but you said it so matter-of-factly. I didn't even think anything. He said, yeah, I got to go to court for that next week. Now, mind you, I started thinking back. He started doing this ritual that he did the last time before he went to court, burning the candles, wanting to go see this witch doctor, doing all this excessive crying and worrying. Now things are starting to come back to me. I'm starting to realize, well, if you were at work and you didn't know this person and you didn't do the things that they say you did, then why are you doing all these rituals like you normally do, like you did the last time before you went to court? Didn't make sense to me. But I didn't say anything to him because another thing with the narcissist, what you don't do is you don't question them about anything, because you can't ask them questions. Because if you ask them questions, they get extremely upset and they take your questions to mean you're trying to start an argument. And he always accused me of trying to start arguments, so I didn't say anything about it. So the closer the days went on, I asked him a question. It was on a Saturday. I'll never forget it. I asked him, I said, I got to ask you a question and I don't want you to get upset, because my spirit just wasn't sitting right. It just wasn't sitting right. And you know how you be having those moments and you're in there by yourself and you're just thinking and it just wasn't adding up. So I said, I'm going to be bold and I'm going to ask him. Yes, me, Miss Big, Bold, and Bad, will ask anybody anything, but I didn't ever want to ruffle his feathers, okay? Now, so a lot of things I just didn't do. I gave him a side of me that most people don't get, and that was more of like a side where, okay, even if I think it, I ain't gonna say it. Even if I want to ask it, I'm not gonna ask it. But this particular day I had to ask the question. I said, in the time that you and I have been going together or talking or whatever in the last year and a half, have you ever, were you seeing somebody else? His first response was, what made you ask me that? And I said, answer the question. Did you or didn't you? No, I haven't. But why did you ask me that? And this thing blew up just from me asking a question. Then he started saying I was accusing him, and he didn't know why I was asking him something like that. And blah, 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 blah. I said, I only asked you because I just asked. It wasn't any particular reason. I wasn't trying to start an argument. I just literally wanted to know. And he said, you always trying to start arguments. And then I said, well, you know what? The way you're acting guilty now. It must be true. And then I hit him with that. And why are you going to court for this? Because now I'm pissed off, okay? You acting like an ass for me asking this question. The reason why you're getting upset because you're lying. Because you know you have been talking to somebody else. I said, it just don't make sense to me why you would get accused of something that you had nothing to do with and you got to go to court for it. Oh, well, I didn't do nothing. Da, 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 da. Okay, let's fast forward. Court date comes around. He goes to court and he calls me when he gets back. Man, I told you I walked in there. Them people say they ain't even know who I was. Ask me, what you doing here? They ain't know who I was. That thing was dismissed. I told you. Okay. Yeah. So I found out, because I had his phone records, that he had been talking to this number for a good minute. And me being a private investigator that I am, I researched the number. And when the number popped up, the young lady's name was on the number that he told me that remember I told you in the beginning, he mentioned that somebody named so-and-so had questioned him. Had accused him of something, and he didn't know why they were accusing him. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that, guys. I had to stop and talk to the grandbaby. So anyway, I found out that he was talking to somebody else. And then I found out that the girl he was talking to was the girl that actually had the case against him. And they had been talking for a minute. And, I ain't going to get into a whole bunch of details about what all went on. But just know that I wasn't wrong when I said that he was talking. He got upset, which I'm not stupid, because I'm old enough to know. I keep telling him. And another thing, y'all know I love these young men. That's my problem right there, too. That's my problem. I love them motherfuckers in their dirty 30s, and I need to leave them bitches alone. Because you got to teach a motherfucker all over again. I ain't in the business of keep teaching somebody some shit that I done told my sons years ago, and my sons got it. And here you older than my sons, and you still ain't got it? Look, I can't. So anyway, kind of find out the person whose name that I seen and everything was the person that he had mentioned to me that was accusing him of something falsely. Kind of find out it wasn't false. It was the case wasn't dismissed. The case is still ongoing. And of course, then he tries to reach out to the young lady and try to get the young lady to stop talking about, don't press charges and this, that, and the other. And the girl was like, nope. It's an ongoing case, you know what I mean? And that's all I'm going to say about that. And I really don't give two shits who sees this. And I'm not trying to out anybody. I'm just telling my story. And a part of telling my story, and I ain't mentioned no names, but a part of telling my story, I have to tell the truth, because I need you guys to understand that this shit is real. This is live, loud, real, and in color, okay? Ain't no faking to the funk about this shit. This shit is real. Another thing that you have to consider with these narcissists, they act extremely jealous. He acted extremely jealous of me. And you don't want to think we're envious or whatever. You just don't want to think like he didn't like the fact that other people like me. He didn't like the fact that I had a lot of friends. He didn't want me to do my videos. Told me he didn't like it. Like me being here, I don't want nobody looking at you. I don't want nobody seeing you. Well, people going to look at me and see me when I'm in the street. But he didn't want me to do my content and stuff like that. And listen, I'm not doing this shit for kicks and giggles. I'm doing it to reach people because that's my passion. And in the process, if I make a couple coin while doing it, why not? You're not going to stop me from doing that. So anything that he could do to try to interrupt my day or try to interrupt my flow, just not supportive whatsoever. And then here I'm thinking that I was like, I've been on several podcasts. You never came on there to support me. You don't ever look at my videos. You don't do this, that, and the other. But come to find out, he had seen a couple of the podcasts that I was on. He was watching, and he has looked at all of my videos and things because he would say certain things that I'm like, how the hell did he know that? Well, he knows it because he's been watching. I'm not blocking. I'm not blocking my content. I'm not blocking no people. And I have blocked him from my phone because I'm not dealing with that. I ain't got to deal with you calling me and bugging me and shit like that. So the phone going to stay on block. I leave my profile and everything public for a purpose. I leave my profile public because that's how I reach a bigger audience. And I'm working on something bigger than one individual. I'm reaching out to people out there, men or women, mostly my sisters, because my sisters feel like we don't do enough as women. We don't do enough to support one another. And it's sad because women need to be able to support one another. We need to be able to help one another. We need to be there for each other. And so the idea and the whole purpose behind me reaching out to people and cooking and doing the things that I do is so that I can reach somebody. Just let you know, sis, you ain't alone. I said it yesterday, I'm going to say it today, and I'm going to say it every day. You're not alone, sis. You're not alone. I'm here. We're here. It's a bunch of us here. It's a lot of us that can relate. And like I had somebody reach out to me just the other day, was like, girl, I never knew what that was. I didn't know it was narcissism, but all the things that you were talking about is everything that I've been dealing with my dude, and I didn't know what it was. I thought I was crazy or something. So you see what I'm saying? You just never know who you're going to reach out to. You don't know who your audience is. You might be your post just might be the difference of whether or not that person lives or die today, and that's the truth. Because I've been in some situations, never where I wanted to die, but I've been in some situations where I've listened to somebody's post and it changed my entire day. So I'm doing this for a purpose. I'm doing this not to down anybody, not to shed any bad light on any one particular person. I'm sharing my experiences, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. That's the only disclaimer I'm gonna give on that, because I don't owe nobody no explanations about nothing, because this is my life, and anything that I choose to talk about that has happened in my life is something I'm going to do, because I say it all the time. You can go back and look at any of my videos from 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's 2 things I always say: to thine own self be true, and I always say that your secrets keep you sick. And I said it then, I said it yesterday, I'm going to say it today, I'm going to say it tomorrow. So this is why I do it, for me and for you and for my sisters out there who think that they're alone, who think they're the only one going through it. You're not alone, boo. We here. We got you. You can talk to me about anything. That's what my platform is for. Not to get in your business, but just to let you know I'm here. Okay? And that I'm real, and that I go through real things just like the next person. All right? So anyway, guys, I'm going to end this video for now. Stay tuned for part 3. Hope you are enjoying the story time. I know it's a bit long, and I know sometimes it can be tiring, but I know me, I love a good piece of tea, baby. I love a good piece of tea. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your day. And I'm going to say it, even though I ain't in my kitchen, I'm on my back porch. I'm going to say, from my kitchen to yours, or wherever you may be, deuces. I holla.